Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out here on the Friday of Give a Day week and Earth Day. It's been a wonderful week with Give a Day to see all of the beautiful stuff going on throughout our city, from literacy to healthcare and certainly environmental activity as well. We just heard about what's going on with Brightside today, but we had a tremendous turnout on Saturday with Brightside for our community cleanup, and I want to thank all the Brightside leadership and bright siders that came out from around the city to help us on that. So that really was always the kind of the big exclamation point to the start of Give a Day. So we appreciate Brightside very, very much. Let's hear it for Brightside. As you all know, compassion is kind of the value that launched Give a Day, and it's one of our city's core values, and hopefully it's something all of us practice in interaction with each other every day. And compassion is this notion that we respect each other so that we want our human potential to thrive and flourish, and that is an interpersonal thing, but it's also something that we value with our natural environment as well. Now, health is also one of our city values, and by that we mean physical health, mental health, and environmental health. And each of those is critical because obviously they're connected to each other. But then when you think about the connection between compassion and health, they're also naturally aligned, especially when it comes to how we interact with our natural environment. Now, as if we haven't been in a cave, we're all aware of the extreme climate challenges that we're experiencing both globally and locally. Locally, our climate change manifests itself in issues like flash flooding that we see more than ever the past several years around the community, air quality challenges that we're working very diligently against and making good progress, and then the urban heat island effect that can bring dangerously high temperatures to certain parts of our city. As it relates to urban heat island, I hope we'll see many of you all again on Monday. We're going to be releasing a major study of the urban heat island in our city and how we're going to respond and how we are responding to that. So when I go through some of these are just the latest in our sustainability efforts, and sustainability has been a priority of mine since we started our administration in 2011. And that's why we created the Office for Sustainability as a new office for the city. And that's also why we developed the Sustain Louisville Plan in 2013. It's also why we're working to decrease energy use in city-owned buildings by 30% and achieve and maintain national ambient air quality standards, amongst other goals. So this is not new work for us. Here are some of the other results that we've achieved as a city so far. Star Communities, which rates cities nationwide on their sustainability efforts, gave Louisville a 4-star rating last year. For the third year in a row, the Louisville metro area has made a national list of the 25 cities with the most Energy Star buildings. Thanks a lot to JCPS and Mike Mulhern over here for the work they've done with the Energy Star buildings. Thank you, Mike. Our 55 Energy Star buildings are saving their owners an estimated $4 million a year in energy cost as well, so sustainability is good for business. Our air is getting cleaner. We've all followed that. Smog is on a downward trend. EPA standards are increasing, so we have to continue to improve. And we've recently proposed creating an Energy Project Assessment District, or EPAD, that would make it easier for property owners to acquire private financing to put in solar panels. So we're addressing sustainability in many ways, including the Brightside efforts that we talked about. And last year we amplified Brightside by creating a Clean and Green initiative that we call One Bright City. So again, good leadership with Brightside. And through our work with the Louisville Sustainability Council, through our Move Louisville plan that we introduced last week, and that's focused on reducing overall vehicle miles driven and the air pollution that comes with vehicles. So, where do we go next? Today, we felt it was important as we celebrate Earth Day to announce that I'm joining city leaders from around the world in efforts to preserve a human-friendly climate by signing the Compact of Mayors. The Compact is a coalition of more than 160 mayors from all over the globe. It launched in 2014 in cooperation with the United Nations. The Compact is The Compact of Mayors agreement that the conference produced provides a pathway for local governments to address the negative impacts of climate change in cities like ours. So by signing the compact, here are the additional sustainability commitments we're making at Metro government. And these are just good basic things that actually any business would do. One, within the first year, we will complete a greenhouse gas inventory of the city. Within 2 years, we will set greenhouse gas reduction target, conduct a climate change vulnerability assessment, and report those results to our citizens. And within 3 years, we will release a strategic plan for achieving our greenhouse gas reduction goals and climate change adaptation strategies. So these are what I think are moderate, common sense steps that any good city that's thinking to the future should take. So let me be clear on this. We're not starting from scratch in this area. Our Sustain Louisville plan includes a greenhouse gas reduction commitment. But it makes sense to join the Compact of Mayors as part of our sustainability efforts. It furthers the long-term goals that we set in Sustain Louisville and also gives us a mutual learning network of other cities around the globe. Also, the Compact's emphasis on metrics and accountability aligns perfectly with what we started with our administration with Louisville, which is nationally recognized as the best practice for measuring and improving city government. So I'm proud to join this compact with city leaders representing more than 230 million people across the world. By doing this, we're sending a message that here in Louisville, that we know that we have a part to play in solving global challenges, and we expect others to play their part as well. Climate change is not some abstract left-wing conspiracy. We see it happening all over the world. Regardless of why it's happening, I believe we all have a moral obligation to the generations that come after us. Our kids, grandkids, and beyond will have to live with the consequences of our decisions on how we treat our environment. So reducing our greenhouse gas emissions is one way to show compassion for them and all the Louisvillians of the future. Now, to get this done, a lot of folks are going to be involved. This will be a multi-agency effort. Air Pollution Control District, Public Health and Wellness, and Louisville Forward, which includes the Office of Sustainability, will engage other city agencies and the public to make these efforts a success. We've already received an extraordinary level of cooperation from our partners in the business, education, and nonprofit communities who are very committed to making Louisville a cleaner, greener, and healthier place. So I'd like to thank the partners who have offered their support for Louisville's commitment to this compact. This includes Brown-Forman, the Center for Interfaith Relations, Ford Motor Company, Humana, Family Allergy and Asthma, Johnson Controls, the Louisville Climate Action Network, Schneider Electric, the University of Louisville Cardiology, the West Jefferson Community Task Force, and Yum Brands, amongst many others. So there's broad support throughout the entire community for this effort. Now to talk about our local efforts from our Office of Sustainability, please welcome our Director, Maria Cutter. Maria?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here on Earth Day to participate, to recognize participation in this exciting compact. We released Sustain Louisville in 2013, and we set a bunch of goals around energy efficiency, reducing vehicle miles traveled, and all kinds of other things related to clean air and clean water and a healthier city. We've been making progress on all these goals, so signing this compact helps build upon the success of our programs. And also, we've been doing some groundbreaking work around health and greening, and we were very fortunate to have Prince Charles here last year to remind us about the global implications of being friendly to our environment. So by participating in this compact, we join a group of global leaders, and we will be able to use a common framework and protocol for tracking and measuring our progress against setting greenhouse gas emission reduction goals. We're just starting down this path, like many of our peer cities in the country and globally, and we're going to be getting busy and doing our greenhouse gas inventory, and from there we'll begin the process of setting our reduction goals. So we're 24 months, we have a little journey to get on here. We'll continue to lead by example by launching new programs and partnering with groups around the community to help lead them and guide and support their efforts as well. So on this Earth Day, I think it's worth pausing. We have 7.3 billion people on this planet. The United States is the third most populous country. So the actions we take on locally make a difference to our country as well as the global community that suffer the impacts of climate and global change, sometimes much more severely than we do here. So today, Mayor Fischer is the first mayor in Kentucky to sign this compact, and he is joining over 150 global leaders that are officially signing the Paris Compact today in New York. So thank you again for being here and joining us, and let's try to make every day Earth Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And thanks to all of our citizens that are helping us with our sustainability efforts. It surely requires everybody in the city, so thank you. Now, the Metro Council obviously is going to be a big part of this as well, in that we need to practice sustainability in all 26 of our council districts. I think Cindy Fowler just joined us a moment ago. So Cindy, wherever Cindy is. Okay, thank you for joining us as well. And we're in Councilman Bill Hollander's district here, which is kind of Earth Day Central with all the activities going on from tree planting to cleaning up the creek, et cetera. So we appreciate his hospitality and leadership in many different ways. So please welcome Bill Hollander.
So welcome to District 9 on this Earth Day. I like to think of this as the green capital of Louisville, and it certainly fits the bill this weekend. I'm wearing jeans because I'm going to be planting trees in just a few minutes and then cleaning up Beargrass Creek. And I'll end the day by drinking Beargrass Creek brew from our own Apocalypse Brew Works. Tomorrow is another cleanup on Beargrass Creek. And then on Sunday, the street on Frankfort Avenue will be taken over by bicycles and walkers and dancers, everything but motorized vehicles as we move to our third cyclovia on the street from 2 to 6 on Frankfort Avenue. What could be greener than that? And the weather is predicted to be perfect on Sunday, and I hope you'll all come. I'm especially happy to be here today as the mayor signs the Compact of Mayors addressing climate change. As the mayor said, this is more than just a pledge. It's a data-driven way to track our progress and to prepare for the impacts. And it's perfect for our mayor who tracks everything. I'm so happy to see the involvement of Louisville businesses. The success of this venture requires their commitment. Consumer demands and substantial business risks are leading businesses to change, and climate-smart companies are gaining a competitive advantage around the world. Individuals are leading the change. Our District 9 newsletter has featured a sustainability story for 66 consecutive weeks, someone doing something good for the environment, recycling, gardening, installing solar, riding their bike to work, and importantly, advocating. I'm proud to say that Metro Council has led in our efforts. We've all seen the marked increase in extreme weather events that the mayor referred to, including rain and flooding, and we know the cost to affected individuals and the cost to all of us to mitigate those extreme weather events. Last August, Metro Council unanimously passed a resolution supporting more use of solar in Louisville and setting ambitious goals for that effort. The citizens of District 9 and other council members, including Rick Blackwell, Tom Owen, Vicki Aubrey Welch, Dan Johnson, President Yates, Jessica Green, David James, and Cindy Fowler, helped that effort and funded the Solar Over Louisville program with community development funds. And next week, we're poised to pass legislation that we refer to as EPAD, which the mayor referred to, which will make it easier for commercial, industrial, and some larger multi-family residential buildings to make renewable and energy improvement projects on their properties. It will help both them and the environment, and there is no cost to taxpayers. It will provide jobs to those involved in the renewable and energy efficient sector, which is of course a rapidly growing part of the employment sector in this community and around the world. I was proud to sponsor that, and I'm also proud to say that a number of people, including Councilwoman Fowler, were very quick to add on as sponsors, and we have broad bipartisan support for that on the council. Addressing climate change is not only smart for businesses and individuals and cities, it's a moral imperative, as the mayor said. Preserving the planet isn't left or right or blue or red. In fact, what can be more conservative than protecting, conserving, and being good stewards of our environment? At the end of our days or before, we'll all have to answer as to what we did to help the Earth survive. I'm happy to say that today in Louisville, we took another step to join the world in addressing the issue. Thank you to the mayor and all of you for being here.
Great job. So as Bill mentioned too, there's tremendous business aspects behind this. And as I say, a lot of times I'm a business person, an entrepreneur that just happens to be mayor. And as a community, when I talk to businesses, I feel people have moved way beyond this paradigm that I can either be sustainably responsible or I can be profitable. That is a super old way of thinking. It's about as modern as a rotary phone. You don't see that anymore. And so when people think it's a trade-off, they really just don't get what's going on, both in terms of thinking, but in terms of the technology that's available now and the job growth that comes from the new technology, from green jobs. Prices are going down, technology advances are moving forward. Any community is smart to get involved with this. And businesses see that. Smart leaders see that. We've got a lot of those smart leaders here in Louisville. Brown-Forman leads the pack. I've always said I think Brown-Forman is one of the world's premier companies. They were started here. They are growing here. A global company takes care of its customers, its employees, its suppliers, its natural environment, the arts, etc. They're the kind of company that every mayor would be super proud to have. And we are proud to call Louisville Brown-Forman's home here, and we're now going to hear from Brown-Forman's Vice Chair, Jim Welch.
Thank you very much, Craig. Yes, this is indeed a really important day, I think, for Louisville. As Maria said, representatives from countries around the world are joining in New York at the United Nations today to sign on to the Paris Climate Accord. And we're a global company. We operate in every single one of those countries. We literally sell our products in 168 countries around the world. And our consumers and our investors and our employees insist that we do the right thing by them and by the planet, the earth, the climate, and our future. So this is a very important first step, I think, for Louisville in our hometown to begin to take practical steps to address the threat of climate change. And of course, we'll see immediate benefits in terms of health benefits. I know the level of respiratory disease here in our hometown is well above the national average. So there'll be not only long-term benefits, but short-term benefits as well. And I think the mayor's approach and the city's approach is the same that we take at Brown-Forman. It's very practical. It's very straightforward. For a number of years at Brown-Forman, we've had specific emissions goals. We have targets to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 15% in the next few years, which is quite a challenge to do when you're growing your business. So on a per unit basis, we may be seeking as much as a 40% reduction on a per unit basis in our greenhouse gas emissions. We also are tracking our water use. Many of our distilleries are zero waste facilities. And so we're looking at sustainable harvesting practices for the timber that we need for the oak that goes into our barrels. In short, it's our goal at Brown-Forman to endure. We're a 150-year-old company, and we think literally in terms of generations. And so it is at the heart of our business strategy to employ tactics that enable us to be sustainable. And there's nothing more sustainable than being very responsible and cautious about the resources that we consume on the planet, and to make sure we do so in a way that will enable us to thrive and survive for another 150 years. So I know many of my corporate leaders here in the community really support this action. Increasingly, investors are just demanding it. In our annual reports, we also report all of our sustainable practices and all of our corporate responsibility initiatives. It's part of being a successful, enduring company. So we're very, very pleased to see the city take this step and look forward to doing our part to see that the city can achieve the goals that it has set out for itself. So thank you all very much.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. We're now going to have a little ceremonial signing here, and then after that we're going to have a ceremonial tree planting finishing, I guess is what we call that. So let's do that and then go over there and plant this tree. All right?
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro Government.